story. The first wooden carrier long before roads, wheels, or animals were used for transport. Deep inside a vast green jungle, a small tribe of early humans lived by the strength of their bodies. Every day from sunrise to sunset, they worked under the heavy heat and thick air of the forest, lifting stones, wood, and food with nothing but their hands and backs. Their muscles were strong, but their bodies were tired. They carried heavy stones from the riverbank to their shelters to build protection. They hauled logs from fallen trees to create fire and tools. Every load meant bending their backs, tightening their shoulders, and walking long distances while breathing heavily. No one questioned this life because this was the only way they knew. Among them was a young man named Ethan. Ethan was not the strongest in the tribe, but he was the most observant. While others focused only on lifting and carrying, Ethan often watched. He watched how people struggled, how they stopped to rest again and again, how some even dropped stones midway because their bodies gave up. One afternoon, as the group was lifting large stones from the ground, Ethan saw an older man fall to his knees from exhaustion. The stone rolled away, and everyone paused for a moment before returning to their work. But Ethan did not move. He stood there, thinking. He looked around the jungle. There were fallen logs everywhere, long, thick pieces of wood lying unused on the forest floor. He noticed how, when a stone rolled, it moved much more easily on the ground than on someone's back. A thought began forming in his mind, something no one had considered before. Why do we carry the weight on our bodies when the ground can carry it for us? That thought stayed with him. Later that day, while the others rested near the river, Ethan quietly walked into the deeper part of the jungle. He walked slowly, looking at the trees, the logs, the vines hanging from branches. He touched the wood, lifted small pieces, dragged them across the soil. He experimented without knowing he was experimenting. Then he found a long, strong log smooth on one side. He tried pushing it. It slid across the ground. He placed a stone on top of it and pulled again. The stone moved with the log. His eyes widened. He hurried back and grabbed a sharp stone tool. With patience, he began shaping the front of the log so it would not dig into the soil. He tied 2 vines to one end so he could hold and pull it. It was simple, very simple, but no one had ever thought of it. The next morning, while the tribe began lifting stones again, Ethan brought his wooden lawn in so he could hold. The others looked at him strangely. Without saying a word, he placed 2 heavy stones onto the log. Then he grabbed the vines and pulled. The stones moved. Not on his back, not in his hands, on the wood sliding over the earth. Everyone stopped working. They watched as Ethan walked, pulling the weight that would normally require 2 people. His face was not strained. His shoulders were relaxed. He walked farther than anyone without stopping. The tribe followed him, confused and amazed. One man touched the log. Another tried pulling it. A woman placed more stones on it, expecting it to stop, but it didn't. It kept moving. Murmurs filled the jungle. Faces that were always tired now showed surprise. Ethan had not just made work easier. He had changed the way they thought. Soon, people gathered around him, asking with gestures and excitement for him to show them how he did it. Ethan smiled and began collecting more logs. He showed them how to choose the right wood, how to smooth the front, how to tie vines for pulling. All day, instead of lifting stones, the tribe was building wooden carriers. By sunset, several people had their own. The next day, something incredible happened. Instead of seeing bent backs and tired faces, the jungle was full of people pulling stones on wooden logs. They moved faster. They carried more. They laughed while working. No one fell from exhaustion. Word spread to nearby groups in the jungle. Other workers came to see this strange new method. They asked Ethan to make one for them. Instead, he taught them. Soon, the forest floor was filled with wooden carriers sliding across the soil in every direction. The jungle felt alive in a new way. Work that once felt like punishment now felt manageable. They had time to sit, talk, and rest. That evening, they gathered around a fire, not out of exhaustion, but celebration. They looked at Ethan with respect, not because he was strong, but because he had thought differently. That night, the jungle echoed with laughter, voices, and joy. It felt like a festival. Children played around the wooden carriers. Adults discussed how this simple idea had changed everything. For the first time, they realized that survival did not depend only on strength. It depended on ideas. And that was the moment human innovation truly began. Not with machines, not with wheels, but with a man who was tired of carrying stones on his back and decided to let the ground carry them instead. This was the birth of the first wooden carrier, the first step from pure human labor toward technology.